Cannon and stay in this hotel, and that they were going to leave and go back to Thelma Marks. Biff and his wife were like about a day behind. So they went into town, resupplied, and their plan was to meet up at Thelma Marks with their friends. The morning after, so this would have been like around September 14th, because you got to consider the 12th, they spent the night in the hotel. They get up the 13th, they go to the Thelma Marks, they set up. So this would have been like the morning of the 14th.
Who the hell names their kid Biff?
I don't know. I wonder what Biff is short for.
I don't know, but
Bifferino?
The age I am, and I don't know if it's true for you, when you hear the name Biff, you think of
Biff
the
Cannon.
villain in the Back to the Future movie. So, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah.
So Biff and his wife show up at the shelter that morning thinking they're going to find their buddies making breakfast, maybe packing up their gear,
right?
Morning ritual, maybe having a cup of coffee, that kind of thing. Well, when they get to the shelter, they immediately know something was just horribly wrong. Like, everything just seemed really fucked up. And
that's not good. I bet that's instantly scary for them.
Yeah, it was so scary, in fact, that when Biff saw the couple's gear just in disarray all over the ground, supplies, food, all of their worldly possessions, just torn all to pieces, thrown everywhere, he was like, this is not good. He told Cindy, you stay here. Like, I don't even want you to go inside the shelter.
Yeah, because like you said, you've been living out of these backpacks. Everything you have is essential. Your stuff, your little bit of stuff, and all this big empty trail you're walking. So, yeah, you're not going to just leave that all strewn around. Yeah. You're not going to tear your backpack all apart and throw all your essential stuff around like that.
So Biff tells Cindy, you stay here. He goes inside, and once he's inside the shelter, he sees Jeff and Molly on the floor, blood everywhere, and the couple appears to be bound. Molly's hands are tied behind her back. She's got blood, all over her head, her upper body. Same with Jeff. So, terrible scene.
What'd you say if you found something like that?
I don't know.
I think out of reflex, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I'd be scared.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd also be looking at it like...
It's hard to say because sometimes I feel like I would freak out, but then other times I find myself eerily calm in like really screwed up situations.
Right.
So I'm not sure.
You might be that one that you don't want to go in there.
Yeah. Yes. So immediately, of course, Biff rushes outside. I'm sure he's freaking out. So he's like, we got to get out of here. He and Cindy make the hike back into town, which takes somewhere between maybe like 45 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
To alert authorities about what has happened. So when investigators show up, they determine that Jeff was shot with a .22 caliber in the back of the head and in the stomach 3 times. A .22 caliber is the same weapon that Randall Smith used.
Yeah, that's weird.
I know, right? Well, Molly had been raped, then stabbed repeatedly in the back, neck, and throat area.
And
I think they said something like 12 times that she'd been stabbed.
Isn't that similar to what Randall Smith did?
Very similar.
He shot him and stabbed her?
Yeah, it's eerily similar.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very similar. So, of course, news quickly spreads through the Appalachian Trail community, and people are pretty vigilant in helping to solve this case. Not only the hikers along the trail, but, folks who live in the area.
Yeah,
it's just bad news. They don't want this person.
Small towns through there, small knit, tight-knit communities. And that's so far outside of the normal what happens even around their period, let alone on the trail. So, yeah, it would be, I'm sure that I could see the community like who's seen anything, which is likely in such a small community. Somebody's seen something.
Well, yeah, and a lot of residents who live along the trail are so kind to hikers.
Well, that's what you said. They're called what?
A lot of people call them trail angels.
Right.
They'll bring like food out to the shelters,
hot meal,
supplies, Band-Aids, warm socks, dry socks.
Maybe even a hot shower.
Yeah, they'll meet you at certain places and take you for a ride into town. Take you home, let you take a shower. I mean, these people are just really nice, and they're very supportive of the hikers. Just a really nice, kind of close-knit little community.
Yeah, because an economy comes along with those hikers.
Definitely.
All the small towns near the trail, just like we live close to one, is definitely take advantage of that. We'll have, the higher dollar you also notice those stores typically is the high dollar stuff. So these people, I think, that take 6 months off and walk the trail are not typically poor people, and they have money to spend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know some people who do the trail that definitely don't have a lot of money, but they work seasonal, like outdoor types of jobs.
Right.
They usually don't have a house. They don't have a
Right.
mortgage.
They're literally about that lifestyle.
A lot of them don't even have a vehicle.
Right.
They're like, hey, I got a bike and a plane ticket to go wherever, and they work 6 months, save their money, and then do 6 months on the trail, you know?
Right. So I'm sure that, didn't mean to grossly generalize.
But I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, typically speaking.
Well, with all these folks pitching in to spread the word, everybody's concerned. It's hit the news. You know, this is a big deal. It only took 9 days to make an arrest. And they found the person in Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, which, you know, this happened in Pennsylvania. He's already down in West Virginia. And I've been to Harper's Ferry. Beautiful place.
Really?
Absolutely gorgeous. You've got beautiful kind of mountain area.
Is that one tied to that Civil War story?
Yeah, you got the river. I mean, it's just a really beautiful spot.
Okay.
And it's like right along the border of Maryland.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'd like to go see that.
Really just such a pretty area. Well, the murder at this point had remained, kind of a mystery. But what police were kind of able to piece together was that this couple had encountered a man named Paul David Cruz at some point in the, few hours that they were at Thelma Mark's shelter. So to give you a little background on Cruz, because this guy, I'm just going to say it, he's fucked up.
Okay.
Yeah. Little did they know. Now, this was in 1990 when Jeff and Molly are killed. Cruz was on the lam for the 1986 murder of a Florida woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's an asshole.
So July 3rd, 1986, a woman named Clemmy Jewel Arnold, she was a 56-year-old woman, was kind enough to offer Paul Cruz a ride home from a bar in Bartow, Florida. And the next day, she turned up dead, naked, nearly decapitated.
Wow.
Yeah. At an old, abandoned railroad kind of
yard or something.
Yeah. Well, apparently Cruz had been kind of squatting there. And so immediately after she's killed, Paul Cruz shows up in Polkville, North Carolina at his brother's house in the blood-stained Oldsmobile belonging to Clemmy Arnold.
Wow.
The victim.
What would you say if your brother showed up like that? Because I would just be like, hey, bro, it's good to see you, but why is the car covered in blood?
I'd be like, who the fuck are you supposed to be?
Yeah, I'd be like, and why did you come here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get in that blood-soaked car and take that shit on down the road.
In the words of Dylan, you need to get on somewhere with that.
You need to get on somewhere with that.
Exactly. His brother, unlike us, was just like, sure, let me help you out here.
Yeah.
So he takes Paul, drops him off in the country.
Let's get that blood-soaked shirt off of you, bro.
Police eventually catch up with the brother, and they find the car, they find bloody clothes, they find Cruz' knife, but they don't find Cruz, because at that point, he's hit the road, he's long gone.
Why do these people keep all this stuff?
I don't know.
That would be instinctual. I know in this
why is the brother hanging on to it?
Well, I know. In this day and age, I know we got we've hear about true crime, we can ingest it and just hear about so much more than even if you try to read all these books. But instinctually, before anyone that I knew about anything as far as crimes go, I would be like, I need to get rid of these bloody clothes and this bloody murder weapon. I should not keep these things.
Cruz, wanted for murder, takes off on the trail. Well, I'm going to give you a little background on him, even further back, because the guy did have kind of a fucked up life. He was abandoned by his father, Edward Horn, who had 7 children, by the way, when he was a small child. Like, his dad just up and leaves the kids. And I guess mom was already long gone, so...
Did you say 7?
7 kids.
Wow.
So the kids are, of course, sent to children's homes, foster care, but eventually Paul gets adopted when he's 8 years old by a family in Burlington, North Carolina. And by all accounts, his adoptive family, picture of normal. Mom, her name was Susan Cruz. She was a nurse, very active in their local church, pillars of the community, loving, giving, just really nice people.
So just the quintessential, nice.
I mean, it sounds like
good
Paul
people.
really couldn't have been adopted by like a better family.
A wonderful family.
Who really wanted to just help him out, do right by him.
Yeah, can help him succeed in life.
Yeah.
Not like the providers, hard workers. Yeah.
But he wasn't having it. I mean, by age 12, he was running away, like frequently running away. He had gotten in trouble for like taking knives to school, threatening other kids, doing little punk-ass delinquent types of shit. His mother, Susan, would later come out and say that it was during that time he was diagnosed as a manic depressive.
Yeah.
And he was just a troubled kid.
Right.
So by 1972, he was just, kind of not really going anywhere. Finished school, joined the Marine Corps.
Ah.
They're looking for a few good men.
Well, sometimes it gives plenty of people some direction in life and a boost.
I overall feel like it was probably one of the best choices I ever made.
Right.
It really kind of helped me get myself together.
Yeah.
Instead of just floating around like a la.
Right, like these crust punks riding the trains.
Like, hey, I got some learning and now what do I do? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, the Marine Corps, he's in there for about a year. I guess things are going okay for him. He meets a lady, gets married, becomes a dad.
Okay, Paul, way to go.
Yeah.
Settled down.
Seems like things are doing okay for him.
Doing the right thing.
But by 1974, he had gone AWOL.
Uh-oh.
He had attempted suicide a couple of times.
Oh, no.
And was discharged.
Paul, I saw this coming.
And his wife divorced him, and that's when he kind of just became a drifter.
And the wife, too, all at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, so this probably goes back to him being a troubled person.
Yep.
And, yeah.
So, as you mentioned, crust punk, so that's kind of him. He's just a drifter. He's just floating around, no direction, taking odd jobs.
So, what you're saying...
Transient.
Is he is a cowboy.
Without a steel horse.
On a steel horse?
He doesn't have a steel horse, but...
Okay.
He eventually moves to South Indiana by 1977 and was, again, working odd jobs, no real steady kind of work. Just picking up whatever he could to make ends meet, and he managed to get married again.
Oh, okay. All right, Paul. Getting them back together.
So one morning,
we can do this.
He crawls into bed with his second wife and holds a bayonet to her throat.
Oh, Paul. No, Paul. That's not how you keep a wife.
This ends in divorce.
Oh.
Not surprised, right?
Paul. Yeah, okay, so you're fucking up again, Paul.
At some point after this, divorce happens, he does make his way back to North Carolina, where he gets up with his biological brother, whose name was David Rayhorn, and moves in with him kind of briefly. He's there for less than a few months. They're partying, they're drinking, they're doing drugs.
Yeah.
Whatever. Things are, I guess, going well if that's what you're into. Until Donald Ray shoots his girlfriend when they have an argument and partially paralyzes her.
What is wrong with these people?
Brothers of a feather, it seems.
Oh, my God.
So, of course, after that happens, that's when Paul makes his way to Florida. By the 1986 murder, living in Florida, working odd jobs again, like picking oranges.
Okay.
Living kind of in squats, like...
Okay, so he's getting by.
Yeah.
He's getting by.
So at this point, he's gotten to where he's not even, like, living in a house, not renting a place. He's basically just wherever he can find shelter, living out in this abandoned railroad depot kind of place.
Basically, Paul don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when he decides, he's going to kill this first victim, Clemmy Jewel Arnold. But later, investigators are going to come out and say that they suspect that this is actually not his first rodeo. They think he's probably killed before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He takes off on the trail, kills Clemmy, goes to North Carolina. His brother drops him off out in the country, and he takes off on the trail. He's posing